Okay, so guys, welcome to the Business Management 1A module, also known as the BUSM module. Can't see my slide. Lesejo, others can see my slide, so you might want to leave the session and then just rejoin. And then if you still have an issue, please let me know. Thank you. Okay, so I'm not sure any hands or raise of hands or anybody can let me know if they've done this module before, if this is the first time they're doing business management. First time. Okay, so does anybody want to tell me what is their understanding of what business management is? Anybody? I don't want to just select a participant. Okay, go through, Jabulani.
Well, I'm not quite sure, but I'll just try my best. I think
No problem.
it's like basically how to manage business, like transactions and all that when it comes to business.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yes, correct. Okay. So before we proceed, what I've done is I've just taken a screenshot of your textbook and what your textbook looks like. I hope that everybody has received their textbook by now. If not, hopefully my slides will get you through. However, please also just make sure that you get your hands on your textbook before we do the assignment. So by now you should have downloaded your assignment, downloaded your module outline as well. Nompumelelo, others can see the slides. I don't know if you want to perhaps leave the session and then rejoin, please, and then see if you still have an issue. That's right, Dolby. That's correct. So yeah, so this is just a screenshot of what your textbook looks like, and also just ensure if you don't have a textbook, just let me know, please, and then we can try and work around it until you do get hands on your textbook. Okay, and this is just your module outline as per your module material, and these are the concepts that we're going to be covering now. Okay, so exactly that, the concept of business management. So it's planning, organizing, directing, and controlling the activities of a business or organization. Remember, they do this in order to achieve their goals and objectives. And the purpose of business management is to create jobs, to create wealth, and also to create or contribute towards economic growth. Before we proceed, you might see that I've just put a light bulb here. This is because I've looked at past papers, and these are some things that do, or questions that do come up. So just make a note of it. However, it's not guaranteed that these, like I said, that it's going to come out in your exam. It's just something to highlight towards for you guys to show that this is these questions or this topic has been discussed in past papers. Okay. Okay, so within business management or in businesses as a whole in general, it's almost split into two. You get your formal side of business and your informal side of business. So what that refers to, they both refer to all businesses in general. However, with regards to your formal businesses, they are regular wages and salaries. They are regular working hours. The business is registered and income is taxed. So when we talk about a formal business, just think about a business in general. Think about perhaps somebody that works at Rosebank College, Varsity College, Nedbank, any business where you know that the income is taxed, the business is registered, they've got proper, normal, regular working hours, and they receive a regular salary or wage. When we talk about informal businesses, again, we refer to all types of businesses. However, these informal businesses, their wages are low. There are no employment rights. The business is not registered, and therefore there's no tax on the income. And an example of that would be your vendors and your hawkers. Nompumelelo, are you still having an issue? Okay, so let's move forward.
No, ma'am. I'm
Okay,
fine. I can see the
perfect.
slide now.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so within business, we've got different need satisfying organizations. So what that means is that within an organization, there are different needs that need to be met. So You get your business organizations, your government organizations, and your non-profit seeking organizations. Now, in terms of your business, again, just don't overthink it. Just think of a regular business. This is where the customer's demands, or because of a customer's demands, it results to a product or service that's been produced. These could be privately owned, and they can come in the form of a sole trader, a sole proprietor, a partner, a partnership, or a company. And when we talk about our government organizations, we talk about our state-owned entities. So always think of something that's state-owned. Always think of Cecil, Telkom, Eskom, Transnet, SAA. And so as we proceed through the module and we talk about government organizations, those are the type of organizations that we're talking about. And then again, your third one is a non-profit seeking organization. Now, those are your NGOs. Whenever you see the word of non-profit organizations, you think of gift of the givers. So remember with that, they don't have their own finances. They have to rely on financial support from the community, donations. So they give a service or a product without seeking a profit. Okay, does anybody have any questions? No, can I move on? Okay, so think of business. A business in general can be any business, can be Varsity Cottage, can be Rosebank, can be Nedbank. If we think of a government organization, we need to think of state-owned entities, which are your Telkom, your Transnet. So just remember that with the state-owned entity, nobody else can do that service. So for example, Eskom is our service provider for electricity. Transnet is our service provider for transport. Cecil, again, is our service provider for that particular area, as well as Telkom. Okay. And then your non-profit seeking, just remember gift of the givers. Everybody knows about gift of the givers. So again, they are solely dependent on their support from the community donations, so they don't seek a profit. Okay. Okay. Does anybody have any questions before I proceed to the elements of business?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Thanks, Jabulani. See, I didn't have to even look to see that it was you. Okay, so while all businesses, all types of businesses are different, each business aims to meet the needs of the market. So they use scarce resources and convert those into a product or service. So how do we do that? We look at the 4 elements of business. So we think of our profit, our human activity, our goods and services, and the concept of exchange. Okay,
Sorry,
for
ma'am, to
profit,
disturb.
yes, no problem.
I don't know. My screen shows the sign that shows the blocked, so I don't know what's happening with me. Even if when I type there by my message, there's a sign of blocked. So is it fine?
Can you see the screen? No, you can't see what I'm sharing.
Uh, yeah, I can
Can you
see.
see
You're
my
on
slide?
the 4 elements of businesses.
Yes, okay. And then if you can't see the message that you're popping into the chat box, not a problem. You can just raise your hand and then you can speak and let me know if you want to ask any questions.
All right. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Not a problem. You're welcome. So yeah, our 4 elements of business is the profit, and when we talk about profit, obviously goods and services are sold in return of a profit, and that's the aim of every business owner, every business in general. When we talk about our human and human activities, these are people who are involved in a business and the human effort that is put in to produce the goods or service. So, for example, an entrepreneur starting a business, his efforts that he puts in terms of starting the business from scratch, putting in all his efforts, and then his human activity will be to employ more staff. Like a hairdresser or hairstylist, they start up their business, and their human activity would be to employ a receptionist so that they can proceed and carry on with their business. In terms of our goods and services, the process, so this is the process that converts your resources into goods and services. So for example, a furniture company can use metal or glue to ultimately produce their product, which is the furniture. So think of goods and services. We talk about the actual means and stuff that goes into producing that product. Okay. And then the concept of exchange. This is a product or services that are produced and are given in exchange of something. So for example, just think of when you go to the shopping center, you go to Pick and Pay, you get your groceries, and your concept of exchange is paying for those items. So that is the actual concept of exchange. It's the same thing as perhaps going to a hair salon where you do your hair, your nails or something, and you are paying for the service. So that's the concept of exchange. Okay, again, we're going to highlight the purpose of business management. And again, this is something that might be asked in past papers, if you guys go through past papers. So what is the purpose of business management? Number one, it's a field of study. However, this field of study focuses on organizations within the economy that uses limited resources and meets the needs of society. Okay. Would anybody like to add to that? No, okay. No problem. Okay, would anybody, I'm going to pick somebody from there. Let's see. Yes, Timber. Timber, you can unmute your mic, please.
Hello, ma'am. Do you hear me?
Hi, yes, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah. I was just only wanted to know if is there a group for this
A
class,
WhatsApp group.
or is just yes?
There will be a WhatsApp group. I'll set that up tomorrow and then I'll post the link on Learn.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank
No problem. Okay, Dolby. Dolby, would you like to tell us what is your understanding of entrepreneurship? Okay, Timber.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi. Hello.
Hello.
People speaking or Timber?
Okay, I will.
Okay. Stepo, you can go first.
Yes, ma'am. I think it's
Okay,
someone
ma'am.
who.
Okay, Timber, I'll come to you now. I'll just let Chepo go first.
I think, in my understanding, entrepreneurship, I think is someone who want to start a business.
Correct? That's correct. And Timber, would you like to have a go?
Yeah, entrepreneur is someone who will start a business and create job opportunities.
Correct. Jabulani, I see your hand is up.
Um, my understanding of entrepreneurs is like a person who buys like an existing business, like for example, what Elon Musk did with the Twitter. He bought it from who's this guy, Mark Zuckerberg, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think that's my understanding of an entrepreneur.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Melissa?
Hi, ma'am. In my knowledge, entrepreneur would be a person that has an idea and then sets up a business and then taking
Mm,
on the financial risks in
mm.
hopes of a profit.
Okay, correct. And then lastly, is it Pundulo?
Yes, ma'am. According to my understanding, we've got entrepreneur and entrepreneurship,
Yes.
where
looking at the entrepreneur, we are talking about the person. And
Yes.
then entrepreneurship will be talking about an act or system of creating an idea of starting a business with
Yes.
the aim of making profit.
Correct.
If I can
Correct. So
summarize
well
it that
done.
way.
Yes, that's perfect. Thank you so much for that. So yes, everybody is correct. So when we talk about entrepreneurship, we talk about an idea, a gap in the market, somebody that takes the risks. They are also, you have to be a specific type of person in order to become an entrepreneur or even go through entrepreneurship. So as we said, as someone who sees a gap in the market that takes a risk and creates something that's new, growing a business venture with intention of knowing that there are going to be some financial risks and hopes to make a profit. Okay, so the government is eager to support these entrepreneurs because why? Number one, they drive economic growth, and number two, it reduces unemployment. Okay, however, there are some challenges with that, and those challenges are finances, market related competition, as well as time management. Yes, Timber? Okay, I think your hand might be up still. Okay, so an example of that, as ja, as Jabulani said, when we think of entrepreneurs, we think of Apple, we think of Amazon, we think of Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, we think of Google, Microsoft, Twitter, again, as was previously mentioned. So remember, whenever you think of entrepreneur and entrepreneurship, you think of an entrepreneur, sees a gap in the market, takes a risk, has financial strain and struggles, but hopes to gain a profit. Okay. Okay, so in terms of the next section that is the factors of production, remember that businesses exist to satisfy human needs, and they do this by taking the scarce resources, which is known as our factors of production, and putting those through to develop a good or service. So there are four main factors in terms of the factors of production, and that's your natural resources, your human resources, your capital, and again now your entrepreneurship. Okay, so when we talk about natural resources, we think about all things that are natural. We talk about land, water, air, minerals, wood. Our human resource aspect is the physical and mental talent and skills that people have who are employed. Okay. Um, Again, just to add, South Africa has an oversupply of unskilled labor and shortages in certain types of skilled labor sections. Okay. And then our third point is capital. So capital is your buildings, your machinery, computers, etc. These products produced for making possible further production of a final product. So it's something that exists already that you use. Again, you use your machinery, you use your buildings, you can use your material, your computers in order to produce the product. Okay. And then lastly, number four is entrepreneurship. So these are individuals, again, as I said, who take a risk. They see a gap in the market. And they develop a business, a service, a product, and they obviously take a risk. Okay. Any questions with regard to the factors of production? Yes,
So far,
Jabulani.
so good.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thanks, Melissa. So please remember that when you're dealing with the question, whether it's an assignment or whether it's in an exam, and they speak to you and say the factors of production, you firstly need to give an overview of what the factors of production is, and then you list your factors. Okay, so your factors of production, as I said earlier on, is that it's a process of taking resources and putting them through the factors of production in order to produce a goods or service. So always give an overview of what the topic is and then list your topics and then give examples. Okay. Yes. Okay, Jabulani, your hand. Yes?
Oh, I've got answered. That's what I wanted to ask actually about the exams,
Okay.
like how it's
Yes.
supposed to be. Right. I've got the answer.
You sure? Okay. Okay. Yeah. So whenever you get a question, again, with regards to just say example is what is the concept, explain the concept of business management. Then you explain what your understanding of business management is, and then you give an example. So you always give an example to back up what you've stated that topic is, just so we can see that there's a link of understanding. Okay, let's talk about the economic system. So all businesses operate within different economic systems. You get four systems. However, within South Africa, we only operate within one system, and we'll go through that now. So you get your traditional economic system, the command economic system, the market economic system, and then again your mixed system. Okay. Melissa will come through. I'll ask that or answer that question towards the end, if you don't mind. Okay, so what I've done is I've basically given you an overview of what each system is. However, I've top or broken it down further and gone into what is produced, how the goods are produced, and how do people get the products within these economic systems. So, in terms of your traditional system, I've given you an example of Australia, and Australian Aborigines. You can think of your tribe. So tradition is very think back, think practical, very traditional based. Think of a tribe where there is, in order for them to survive, they need food or shelter. So there's a trade that's happening. Think of traditional, think of trade. So how are goods produced? Farming, hunting, or gathering. And again, they trade their stuff. So I'll give you milk if you give me wood, for example. Okay. Command, think of very strict. I command you to do something, so there's basically no. It's what I say is what it is. What I say you need to do. And an example of that would be South Korea. The government basically runs everything. There's no two ways about it. Government decides on what's been produced, how much is being produced, what's been traded, etc. And your market is Canada and the UK, where people are willing to buy and sell goods. Business owners determine the most efficient legal methods of producing. And also, how do they get the products? This is determined by how much a person is able or willing to pay. So it's not if I say the product is X amount, that is X amount, it's how much you are able to pay for it. Okay, and then let's come back to South Africa. So the type of economic system that we've got is a mixed one. Again, you might see the light bulb here, and reason for that is, as I've said, this is also a common question that I've noticed that they like to ask students. And your market or mixed market system, South Africa's current economic system that they've had, it's market related but has a high degree of government participation. So just think of the fact that we've got certain private businesses as well as government owned entities. And it's a mix between your market and your socialist, your socialist system. Okay, and over here in this box, this gray box, it says South Africa has a mixed economy. And why? Because it is the most successful economy in the sub-Saharan Africa, after recovering from apartheid. It has been making a transition from the command system to mixed. So previously South Africa had the command system, and now after apartheid we've got the mixed economy. And government still controls certain aspects. Like I said earlier on, they still control your telecommunications, would be also your telecom systems, your Eskom systems, and stuff like that. So think of government entity. However, there are still other private businesses that still mix within this economy. Okay, does anybody have any questions before we proceed? Good.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, hello.
How are you? My question is, which one is better, the market or the command?
Okay, what would you think? Which one would you go for, Daniel?
I would think that the command would be better because everything will be controlled, isn't it?
But the command, I think, isn't better because it's almost there's no say. It's what government wants, government gets. So if you think of how things are in South Korea, not only within the business related stuff, is that they get to control who produces the goods, who they're going to bring in terms of trade, the imports, the exports. It's very much controlled. Whereas if you talk about your mixed, you've got a combination of both. So yes, we still rely on the government to run certain entities, as I said, telecom, SAA. However, there's still opportunities for other people like who want to be entrepreneurs, who see a gap in the market, want to take a risk. They've worked hard, they've got the finances. If you're in a command system, it's very hard for somebody that's wanting to do entrepreneurship or go into their own business to be able to do that because of the government laws that would come in the command system.
Wouldn't say that that also opens a place or an avenue where people can be exploited.
I understand what you're saying in terms of you for it, but for me, it's just that you don't have a choice in terms of goods or services. How do we then increase or lower the unemployment rate? How do we then bring in more money in terms of trade, imports, exports, trading with other countries to better the country? That's in the command system.
No, I was just checking.
No problem. Would anybody like to add to that, Jabulani? Do you have anything?
I'm fine for now, ma'am, because like I really understand what you've said, so I don't have
Okay.
any queries.
Not a problem. So remember, with command, there is no profit motive. So there's no motive to make a profit, and there is no freedom of choice. So it's very much restricted. For example, you couldn't come onto YouTube and search something without them restricting you. You couldn't Google, as I said, to search something to gain more knowledge, to see what's happening out there because they restrict you. So it's only certain services that are available, only certain goods, certain products. So as I said, no freedom of choice, which again goes back to apartheid days too, where it was as it was and it is what it is. So I think as society changes, as things change, South Africa has developed a mixed economic system, which has helped people in all sectors of business, whether it's an entrepreneur, whether it's somebody actually working at a state-owned entity as well. Yes. Would you like to answer your question, Puntulo?
I'm sorry, ma'am. I just wanted to ask, with the command system, what is the main
Yes.
aim for the command system?
Okay, so the main aim of the command system is basically to, how can I put it? It's not almost like a dictatorship, but it's a communal ownership where the individual owns no property. Okay, it's like all the decisions also on how and what should be produced rest in government hands. So let's go back to this slide here for you. Okay, so yeah, if you look, the command system of communal ownership in which the individual owns no property except private domestic assets, all decisions and about how and what should be produced rest in government hands. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I just want to find out again. There's an economy where you find that it's controlled by soldiers. Would that be falling under the command system?
Yes, think of that's why I said use the example of South Korea. It's very much controlled by the government, the king, his soldiers, and again they choose what products or services are offered. They choose what people can own. If they don't want you to own a property, you don't own a property. Okay, the state decides
Thank you.
what the needs of the community are, how and where the goods will be obtained, and also the quantities in which they may be used. Okay, so I think it's very much, if we can put it as strict. Okay. Whereas if you look at your traditional economic system, they also tend to stick to the good old ways of doing it. It's the same goods, the same services, the same. Everything is the same. Think of the word tradition and then you'll remember the same. Everything is the same. Command, you're very strict. It's do what I say. Type of economic system. And then your market economic system, members of the community may possess assets and earn a profit on them. The allocation of resources is affected by free markets, and the decision about what should be produced by which producer resets with those who own the resources. Okay, so it's very much, I would say, a mixture, and also it ensures proper maintenance of the system without excessive regulation. Okay, so again, this got a light bulb because I've seen it come up. I think if you guys have looked at your assignment as well. So again, if you get asked a question, you need to explain, list the types of economic systems, give a few examples of each. And if you're asked based on a case study, what type of economic system you think it would be, I would say after that, then link what you've just stated to what you find in your case study. Yes, Seppo, have you got a question? No, okay, I'm going to move on. I see we've got 20 minutes left. Okay, and lastly, the last point of Learning Unit 1 is managing for the future, the fourth industrial revolution. Now, when we speak about the fourth industrial revolution, what comes to mind, guys? Anybody want to give a go?
For some reason, for me, it brings up the French, maybe.
Okay, that's okay. I think, okay, I see why you said that. Anybody else? I want one more answer. No answer
Okay,
is
let me give a
incorrect. Yes,
try.
please. Sure,
Okay,
please go ahead.
how the business operate currently now?
Okay, in some sort of degree, yes. And when you say now, currently now, what do you mean by that?
Okay, in terms of technology
Yes. Okay.
from the method that they were using before, like traditional, now we have more technology advanced.
Yes, correct. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Shabulani?
Okay, I'll give an example. Like, you see McDonald's, like now when you walk in and order, you don't need to talk to a cashier or whatever. You can just press the thingy. Even
Yes.
KFC has that thing.
Yes, 100%. So you all have some sort of um, correct view in terms of what the fourth industrial revolution means to you. So when I think of fourth industrial revolution, I think of AI. I think of the world of AI and how things are now. For example, go on to WhatsApp. Everybody got WhatsApp. You see that part on WhatsApp that's now called Meta, and you can ask it any question and it'll give you an answer. Artificial intelligence is correct. Okay, so when we talk about the fourth industrial revolution, I think of AI, think of robotics, think of the way technology is now. So basically, what the fourth industrial revolution is, it's a successful future that will be built on the effective use of human resources along with your technological resources together, rather than having your human resources and your technological resources. So basically, think of if I'm in the workplace and I'm talking about AI and I'm talking about robotics, what am I doing within my human resource capacity and working together with the technology? Okay, so the fourth industrial revolution is working with them both and not having them separate. But in terms of business, so remember, it allows for smart manufacturing, right? Think of intelligent, think of factories. As Jabulani stated, when you go to McDonald's, you don't go to a cashier. You can process your order by yourself at that screen. If you go to KFC, if you go to more places now, you'll see the more use of these these AI, these artificial intelligent machinery that's coming in. So when we look at that and we try to link it with business, we need to think of the key questions that managers need to ask themselves within the fourth industrial revolution. We need to think of, number one, how will the effectiveness and the success of a manager be measured now that we've got those technology resources being included? Number two, does the management team have the correct skills to navigate through the world of AI, is what we say now. Also, what opportunities should managers be aware of? What are the risks? What are the changes? Remember, technology changes all the time. Today, there's something. Tomorrow, there's something else, something even better. So it's very, I think, difficult for managers, especially, well, not more so in now this generation, but I feel that this generation are more up to date in terms of technology, in terms of AI, in terms of knowing what new is out there. But in terms of businesses in general, they need to be more if I can say, business savvy in order to keep up with the world of AI today. So it's very difficult for them to try and look at the business and see, okay, my business was like this, but now how do I bring in the technological part of it in order to take my business forward? Because whether we like it or not, technology is moving forward, technology is changing, and people have had to learn to adapt to that and had to change the way in which they do businesses, which go back to what Jabulani said in terms of now you don't have a line of 5 cashiers. Now you've got 2 cashiers, but you've got 3 screens where people can do their self-order. So just think of how businesses are changing. And when you go around, just think of, just take note of it when you go to the mall of what used to be something and how it used to be, or what it is now. Hi, Daniel. Yes?
Doesn't that affect the economy badly with employees in terms of employees?
It does because, for example, if you're in a factory and you had somebody just putting on the lid of a bottle, on a conveyancing line. Now you've got a robot that's doing that. It definitely does decrease the um, the line of unemployment. However, that's why as a business and as a manager, you need to try and incorporate that by still having your human resource and not having your technology take over. I think again, I'm going back to Jabulani's what's this? His example of not having so many cashiers, but also having the self order at McDonald's. You don't go into McDonald's and you see nobody. You still have, but you will find that there are other places. I think, for example, there might be a bank in Joburg, or if it's not happening now, it's still coming, where they've got the bank is fully operation or operating via AI, via robotics. Correct. Yes, Time Bank. You. It's almost like in a little kiosk at a Pick and Pay, self-service again. And it does go back to what Daniel has said. So if you are asked a question in your thoughts and your feels about AI, you can go ahead and speak to the unemployment risks. And also, obviously, as managers, they need to try and think how are we going to sustain our business but also incorporate the use of technology and AI. Okay. Let's move forward. So in terms of your additional reading for Learning Unit 1, I have listed on page 12 of your textbook, and that is point 1.7, sorry, and that's managing for the future, which might go back to what Daniel has said. So that's just an additional reading for you guys to do from now till next week, but also to prepare for Learning Unit 2 as well. And this, yes, Natasha? So
Hi,
this
ma'am. Can you
additional
hear me?
reading does reflect on your fourth industrial revolution. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. My question is regarding ICE tasks and assessments.
Mhm.
Will we
Yes, sure.
still be required to reference if we are to what is this? Investigate our assessments or tasks? Are we still required to
Yes.
reference still? Okay.
That's a very good question. Thank you for that. So yes, you are. Again, depending on the question. So if the question is asking you to research economic systems and tell me which economic system is best for whichever country, for example, and you have done your research, you've used your textbook, you need to always reference, please. So again, that's something that we can't stress enough in terms of your referencing. Not only, so it depends on your ISTOS question. Some might be multiple choice, some might be pretty straightforward, or others might require you to do a little bit of research and insight. However, if that is the case, then please reference, because it also just gets you used to and into the swing of things in terms of your research, and now also acknowledging the source that you got your information from. Because us as academics find that students think, as we speak about the world of AI, that AI can be used in order to help with assignments. Yes, it can, but you need to reference and show us where you got your source from. You can't take an AI report of a specific topic and then submit it as your own work. If you're going to use it as a form of research to build up on the current stuff that you have or your current answer that you have, then you need to reference properly, please.
Okay, thank you.
We're waiting for David to show us. Okay, perfect. So what I've done is within your VC Learn module, sorry, your RC Learn module, there is the Harvard referencing guide, and that's the latest guide that does also speak to AI. So if you are going to use AI to help you do research on your assignments, etc., there is a part, I think it's from page 42, either from 40 to 44, and that's the latest version of the IIE Harvard referencing guide. It does show you how to implement your referencing with the use of AI. Nokulunga, would you like to ask something?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sure.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. I wanted to ask, I saw something about the case study.
Okay.
So they will tell you that you must start maybe with the theory, then you do the application. So I wanted to ask if on that, when you are doing that, you can just, from the beginning, you can do both, maybe the theory that is mixed with the application, or maybe you can just put your theory first, then you can do the application afterwards.
Yes. So as I said earlier on, is that if you get a let's find an example. Yeah. Okay. So before I answer you, Nokulunga, I just want to show you guys that there is an activity. However, this also links up to what Nokulunga is asking. I've put 2 questions here for you guys. However, I've put the answers there as well, just to get your level of thinking in terms of how to structure your answer. You're not going to get the answers for all activities, but I thought, let me just put the answer for this first one. Reason being, as I said, I would like you to see the link between what the question is asking and how to put it in terms of your answer. So again, if we go back to, let me just go back quickly, and I go this way so I can show you slide 2 or 4 quickly. So whenever you asked to let's see an example. Yeah. Let's go back to entrepreneurship, for example. If your question is define entrepreneurship, you need to tell me what entrepreneurship is, and you need to give me an example of that. Reason being is that I need to see that you've understood the theory of what it is and the application by using the example. So you always link your application to your theory. Who's drawing hearts? Yeah. Okay, anybody else would like to ask something? Yes, Shanice?
May I please ask?
Sure.
When you say put page 42 from the textbook.
No, from the Harvard referencing guide.
Oh, all right.
Okay, so on Learn, you will see under additional resources or important information, I've got a tab there with lecturer slides, ICE tasks. one of those tabs has the Harvard referencing guide that you please need to download and get yourself familiar with and use it as a guideline when you are doing your assignments.
It's the same one that was up for downloading on the development task. I don't know if you saw
It
that.
should be the same one. I haven't seen if it does speak to AI at the end on page 40 to 44. So if you
Right.
want to use that one, use the one that I've posted because that is the latest one that I've received.
Do you post it on the announcement?
I have posted it under more resources.
All right. Thanks.
Okay, no problem. Okay. Anybody
I've
else
got
got
a
any
got a
questions in terms of
question.
the learning unit? Yes, sure. Please go ahead.
Okay, so I looked at your just before the last slide that you had there with the question and the answer. Coming back to the
Yes.
answer, the next slide.
Yes, sure.
So the answer I see is no referencing here.
I haven't
So
put in a reference. That's a good spot.
because I would have liked to see how, just an example, how would you reference at the end, in the beginning,
Okay,
it's
sure.
a,
So what
yeah,
I've got is I've also got a
and then
slide that I'll post within the referencing guide on under more resources, and that's just a slide that's been put together by a colleague who also did lectures for Rosebank College. Her name is Dr. Nazarana Mather. So I'll put through that slide, and it basically tells you what is referencing, how to reference, how to paraphrase, given examples. It tells you what lecturers look out for in terms of what students must not do in when they submitting the assignments and doing their research. So I can put that together for you guys so that you can have your Harvard referencing guide with you. However, you can also have that, and she does have a voiceover, so it does speak to the slides that she presents in that. So would you like me to
okay.
upload that for you?
Yes, please. And then I got another two
Okay.
questions. Would
Sure.
this presentation be added onto your onto your module under slides?
Yes, it's under lecturer slides already.
Okay, okay, okay. I didn't see that.
Okay.
And then
So
lastly,
what will yes, sure.
sorry, with
No
our
problem.
ICE task and all that, would you post the due dates of each, or should we just go
Yes.
ahead and do them?
So if you feel comfortable enough to start and to complete the ICE tasks, you're more than welcome to do it. Again, your ICE tasks will be as we proceed through the module. So certain ICE tasks will be on current learning units. So if you had a look at your assignment is based on learning unit 1 to 3. So we'll go through this, we'll go through assignment questions. We will have an opportunity to meet before your assignment is due. Again, your ICE tasks are then also aligned with everything. So as we navigate through the module, our lectures link up with the assignment, which links up to your ICE tasks.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, no problem. I'm going to stop the recording just in the meantime, but we can continue